This next session is going to be led by Simon initially, but I'm going to remain active in it, and Lydia will join us after she's had a short break. And really, this is intended to get your feedback. So those of you who are on the call still, about where you think we should go next with Charities Against Hate. So as a collective, as a movement, we've been working for about 18 months now. We've made a lot of progress, done a lot in that time, but where should we go now? So should we just focus on being a conduit for other anti-hate campaigns to work with the charity sector? Should we be offering more training and services to help practitioners faced with online help? Should we be focusing more on communications and lobbying, or should we focus on research and evidence gathering? We want to explore all of these types of topics and get your feedback. So Simon, you're going to kick us off with this, so I'll welcome you to the floor.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan, and just to add my thanks to Daryl, to Paula and Kate. I mean, that was so powerful. I'm not a very emotional person, but I mean, hearing especially kind of Paula's testimony at the start was really quite moving, and thank you for having the courage to say what you said and to tell your story in front of a group of strangers in on your laptop. I mean, it was really I think it put into perspective the importance of what and why we set up Charities Against Hate, and going back to the sort of why we're here and what we're trying to do. And I think kind of any kind of suggestion perhaps that we should just kind of go off into the sunset and stop what we're doing is I think firmly allayed, and that's definitely not an option, because there's just so much to do. So so what we wanted to do is really to get everyone's views on where everyone feels Charities Against Hate should go. And I know if Daryl and Paula, if you're sort of still online as panelists and you want to contribute to this, please, I think please do feel free to chip in, because kind of the reason we're doing what we're doing is because we want to be able to support the beneficiaries of charities and people like yourselves as much as we can do. And Jonathan there outlined sort of 4 areas that we have kind of as the steering group, I suppose, kind of thought that we could sort of prioritize over the coming year. But it would be great to hear kind of if other people have other views. I mean, I've sort of jotted down a couple of other things that sort of came to me throughout the course of for today. I think most notably giving a voice and helping people like Paula, Daryl and Kate to have their voices heard is, I think, kind of an important part of what we do and what we should be doing going forward. But I think very shortly we're going to put up a poll asking people, hopefully asking people kind of what they think about the sort of the choices that that Jonathan sort of outlined there. So kind of how important is it for us to work on these 4 areas? So this is being a conduit for other anti-hate campaigns. So I think when we heard from Kick It Out, they're obviously doing a huge amount of work. Heard from Carnegie doing a huge amount of work. Should the role of Charities Against Hate be about asking, providing that information and being a conduit through to the charity sector, so that we as a sector can join in with more of these campaigns from Kick It Out and from Carnegie and from all the other organisations that are campaigning in this space? So how important is that to people? How important is it that we continue to offer more training and advice to help practitioners faced with online hate? And certainly given the comments that we've seen come through and the questions that have come through throughout the sessions today, arguably that seems to be quite an important thing too. And then how important perhaps is it for us to do our own communications and lobbying campaigns? Should we be kind of doing more above the line activity to kind of raise awareness of the issues ourselves, or should we be perhaps that's less important and we should be doing more to amplify what other people are doing, as sort of the first comment would suggest. And then finally, the 4th idea was about research and evidence gathering and gathering more testimonies, gathering more insights from people who are affected by the issues, and then making sure we get those views heard by those in power and those in perhaps. I think one of the points that Kate and I think others have made so powerfully today is actually we need to do more to potentially influence the social media firms directly. There are, kind of perhaps the more voices that we push out and kind of publicize and get into the boardrooms of the people making the decisions, the more they might take notice. So those are the sort of the 4 options that we'd like you to have your say on, and I'm sure you're all busily voting on those. If you have other ideas, put them either in the chat or in the Q&A. If you have any questions about the poll results are in, apparently everything's very important. Great. Well, that's that's a relief to know at least we've kind of got sort of some ideas that people think are actually very important. I don't know if Mimi or Jonathan can reveal which one is of all of those is the most very important. We've just seen them come up now.
We've got the results on the screen overall. So the conduit for other campaigns actually came out the highest overall at 93%, saying very important. Training and services to help practitioners faced with online hate, very important, came in at 53%. Launching own communications, lobbying campaigns, important, came out as 67%. And a couple of people, 7% actually said it wasn't important. And then focusing on more research and evidence gathering, 80% said very important. So I guess if we order those overall, the conduit for other anti-hate campaigns is top. Second is the research and evidence gathering. Third is own communications and lobbying campaigns. And 4th is training and services to help practitioners.
I think that's really interesting. So I don't know, Lydia, if you want to sort of perhaps give some reaction to those results, because I think that's really helpful in terms of helping the sort of the steering group kind of decide where we go next. And I've seen something in the chat from Mark about doing more with National Hate Crime Awareness Week, and certainly that seems like a very important thing that we should be doing, or we could be doing.
Yeah, I think I'm quite relieved actually to see that being a conduit came out on top, and mainly because I think whilst there are 40 charities involved in Charities Against Hate, it is an add-on to our day job. It's not something that we have people working on every single day and is their full-time role. So taking more of that kind of, a role of being more of a conduit and amplifying the voices of other campaigns and organizations and things out there that are doing some incredible work in this space would feel manageable. And then I think, I can't remember, the last one was, just remind me what the last one was, because the polls disappeared. Oh, thank you very much. More research and evidence gathering. And I think I would again say that that feels right for coming out quite highly. I think, we've definitely I've heard it several times throughout the sessions today that we're really keen to hear from more underrepresented groups and make sure that that voice is really prevalent in this work. And I think that would be like a nice next step for Charities Against Hate as well. So there's some my observation.
Great. I think it seems obviously genuinely this is an open question. If people do have other things that they feel that we should be doing as a collective, then please do put them in the chat. There's actually going to be a post-event survey that's sent round by Jonathan and Mimi to get people's views, and obviously please do use that as an opportunity if you suddenly think of something afterwards, or you kind of feel like you don't want to put something in public and you just want to put it in an email. Then there's also the Charities Against Hate inbox, which you can contact us through the website, and you can put something in anonymously there, and we'll kind of listen to those comments that come in that way. I suppose the other point, that this is the bit of the meeting where we then have to start asking for things, and the good news is that we're not necessarily, well, we're not asking for money, which will be a relief for everyone. But what we are asking for, as Lydia mentioned, is time, and that all of us who've been involved in this do so because our employers are happy for us to give up a percentage of our time to help with the work of Charities Against Hate. And so really it's a plea to sort of, if you are in employment and you work for a charity or an organisation that works with charities, please consider, if you feel able, to ask your employer to kind of allow you to kind of become more active with Charities Against Hate. The more people we have working with us, the more we can do, and the more that we can harness the kind of the collective knowledge and skills that we have here, the more we can achieve. So you know, we're not asking people to kind of, you know, go above and beyond. You know, kind of most of us are, I think, in employment, you know, with a charity or with an organisation that's involved in the charity sector in some way. So please do kind of consider if you could give some time and sign up if you want to get more involved. And Mimi's put the link in the chat. So and think about, yeah, how your skills could be used to help with us. I mean, genuinely, we have people, as we've mentioned, from the work that Lydia's been doing on research and evidence gathering, through to you know, kind of people kind of who have been working busily behind the scenes on this event and on the communications. And you know, I think it'd be, you know, great to get more people involved. You know, kind of we now have learned a lot over the last year about how we can work collaboratively. So I don't know, Lydia, if you want to add anything else on that point.
No, I think just to kind of echo everything that you've said, the more the merrier. We would love more organisations to join us and support this work. And hopefully it can lead to, you know, us doing some more of this research and evidence gathering as well. And I know, Daryl, you mentioned something in the chat as well, that you felt that the research was important, and that we need to get the material into the peer-reviewed academic literature as well. So maybe that's something that you could definitely help us with. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump in as well. Just want to add a few comments. I was actually really pleased to see this kind of concept of us acting as a conduit. I think it's always possible to achieve a lot more by building on each other's work. We obviously are a collective anyway of charities, which is great. But then if we can find out what other people are doing, so it was great from that reason to have Kick It Out's involvement today, I felt. The one thing I would observe, and Kate actually commented on it as well, is we are very white as a movement, and obviously, yes, everybody can experience online hate, but I think minority get the really sharp end of that. And so from my perspective, I'd really love to see more diversity in terms of our movement here. So if there is anybody who is on this who's from a minority, it'd be really, and not yet kind of significantly involved, it would really particularly great. I'd like everyone to be involved, but particularly want to encourage people from minorities to get more involved and help us, because we need that perspective bringing into our thoughts and our planning for Charities Against Hate, I think.
So I suppose, just to carry on that actually one of the sort of the objectives that we need to add in is about how do we expand the movement. It's been, I think everyone involved has been just blown away by how many people have signed up to the event, and people I know have been coming and going for the bits that they wanted to hear most about. But you know, that we've got now even more people on our radar, and I think, you know, we should perhaps think about kind of, you know, that sort of membership engagement, for want of a better word, and how we kind of build the membership so that more charities are involved in what we do. So I think we're kind of running out of time, and I just wanted to just kind of make kind of two sort of special thanks, if I may, apart from the ones that I already made, especially to Daryl, Paula and Kate. to a couple of people behind the scenes who you've not seen doing a panel session today, and I'm probably going to miss somebody, but especially Sarah Clark from Charity Comms, who really has held the Charities Against Hate together for much of its existence, and also to Sam Byrne-James, who's been I know sort of busy on social media and ensuring that kind of, you know, we spread the word about what we're doing here, but mostly to Mimi at Charity Digital, who's done a phenomenal job of I think has successfully herded more cats in together than anyone has ever done before. So it's been a real effort from those people, especially in making sure that this event happens. So I just wanted to say thank you to them on behalf of everyone at Charities Against Hate.
Yeah,
just
thanks.
one more person.
I knew I'd forget someone.
Yeah, no worries. Just Alana Genge
Yes.
as well from Health in Mind, who's also done a phenomenal job working with Mimi to get this event going. So yeah, thank you so much.
Good. Yes, and thank you, Lydia. So I think I will wrap up there if Lydia, if you don't have anything else to add, and just do the final words and let people head off for their lunch breaks and the rest of their days.